Greetings, Kickstarter backers. I hope you are well. Quick note that the games are now heading inland to the Orlando warehouse for the Americas fulfillment. And that means that all games are now pretty much in the hands of the fulfillment partners. I believe we've got a rough estimate that we will start in about 10 days actually shipping in the US. I think Europe's probably on the same schedule. They've had the games a little bit longer, but Spiral Galaxy has been quite flooded with Kickstarters all arriving sort of at the same time. But I do expect here within the next 10 days for the bulk of the Kickstarter backers to start getting their games. And you both locations should be getting emails from the fulfillment houses asking you to confirm your address. I know that you saw me do an unboxing video for the characters expansion and how truly thrilled I was that it was perfect. Well, part of the reason for this update is that it turns out that it's not entirely perfect. And yours truly did make an error. I want to show you what that error is. I mean, the original unboxing of this was everything. I mean, there was a typo or two in these 60 pages of rulebooks for the cooperative, the base game, and the variant catalog. But that's really to be expected. I mean, I had professional eyes on it, but when you're generating this kind of volume, you occasionally run into a very, very minor typo. I think we had 3 so far. But I was thrilled with these, and the tiles looked beautiful. Sideboard was great. The co-op mode. We got to the cards. We got to the meeples. Everything was fantastic, except I made a mistake, and the buck stops with me when I get my mass production copy. So what happened is that the small punchboard of tiles got printed on a thinner stock, about 1.8 millimeters all told, compared to the 2.5 millimeters that all the standard tiles are. That's their thickness. I've set it up here for you to take a look. It really is not that noticeable. I think there's about 500 to 600 people that have gotten their games in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and only one person has reported it. And I thought that person was wrong until I went back to my copy and took a look and found out that they were right. So you can see here, if I flash in, you can see a slight recess on the business room tile, on the pony and trap tile, and if I back up here, on the West Terrace tile. And I've had a number of people who've looked at this and they said, you know, hey, that's not a big deal, but it's a big deal to me. I have a policy with my company that everything must be perfect. That is what produced the Useful Box back in 2021 when I had bad bags that came from Panda, and they were kind enough to donate all those bags and let me put them into a creative solution called the Useful Box. I've gone over here for you to take a little closer look at the, actually I'm going to get out of the saddle here and we're going to go in close, and you can see 3 tiles of each. You can see the net difference, and it's unacceptable to me. Because if I had caught it at the mass production stage, when you get that mass production copy before assembly, I could have had them print replacement punch boards and put them into the games when they assembled them, and you would have never known there was an issue. And so I am committed to fixing that issue. The problem is I would like to stay in business, and if you want to get a peek at a game that I'm developing called Parlor, if you want that game to exist, I can't ship replacement punch boards to all 15,000 people that are going to be owners of Parlor here over by the time the next 4 or 5 months pass. 7,500 for the crowdfunding project, another 7,500 in all the international markets around the world, including in obviously the US. That would be over a $100,000 shipping bill to replace these 3 tiles and replace that punch board directly to all my customers. But that doesn't make me want to give up and say, I'm not going to fix it. The good news is everything's playable. Everything's playable when you get it. So there's nothing going to stop you from using those tiles, which are critical for cooperative mode. And so I don't feel like you're going to be denied any gameplay while we wait. But this is also an announcement that I am well underway in my project for a universal rulebook. I firmly believe that when you start to get 4 or 5 expansion boxes that go along with a base game, that if you don't do a universal rulebook, the game's going to not hit the table. I just had that experience happen to me with Terraforming Mars. I haven't played Terraforming Mars in a long time, and I went to pull it out the other day, and I got all these boxes, and I just said, no, and I just sort of sighed and said, I'm going to find something simpler. Because of the 5 rule books, actually, when you think about the 3 rule books that come in characters, I won't be putting the variant catalog in the universal rule book. That's a standalone guy. It'll stay standalone. But these 2, plus upstairs, downstairs, plus the main rule book and the base game, plus some other rules that come with the promotional tiles and Wessex, it's hard for somebody to get it on the table. I play Obsession all the time, but a lot of you play Obsession maybe every other month. And every other month you got to set out all those rule books. So I am doing a universal rule book. I am retaining the services of a professional named Jeff Frazier, who's outstanding. He's the one who helped me with these rule books, and I think you'll find that I have been tamed of my devotion to theme and my wordiness. For remember, Shakespeare said that brevity is the soul of wit. I'm not a witty guy. Jeff is. And he is also great with formatting. And he is going to make that universal rule book be an absolute surgical reference for anything that you pull out for the combined games. One of my goals, and you know that I've achieved it, is to fit everything into the base game box. And this will include the universal rule book. So why am I talking about the universal rule book when I went and fumbled the football over here? Because I'm going to be having a Kickstarter. My target is the end of March for the universal rule book. That will be a product that will be complete before I launch that Kickstarter, meaning that the only thing I'm going to get out of the Kickstarter is a number. How many people want the universal rulebook? And it's my belief that most people that have characters will want the universal rulebook. Now understand, I'm not going to make you pay for rules because it will be available free in a PDF online. For those of you who want the real thing in your hands, I am going to piggyback the replacement Punchboard with the universal rulebook when I fulfill that Kickstarter. So everybody who is getting the Kickstarter for characters, I'm thinking the great majority of you will be getting that universal rulebook. And if that's the case, then I cannot go out of business with $100,000 and make sure that you all get your replacement. In the interim, you'll still be able to play the game, and I just want to make it aesthetically perfect. I made the fundamental problem of being so excited by the perfection of this mass production copy that I did not play it. And I've had some good friends of mine in the gaming industry scold me for not playing the mass production copy. So that's something I will be doing in the future. So thank you for your time. Sorry for the long video, and we'll get this fixed.